Hello, 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 and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Jameelah, and I am a master manifester, and I'm sure you are too, because you are consuming content like this. The name of this lovely channel is Holistic Manifesting, because I believe in a whole body, whole mind, and whole being experience when it comes to manifesting these amazing lives that we are choosing. What I'm discussing in this video is when life slows down, the universe is speeding up. I was very excited to share this one today because I had something completely else and something else completely in mind. And I love when another thing just hits me like a thunderbolt and I don't even have to try. Like I just scribble down notes instantly. And so I think I have a lot of wisdom and good information to bring on this subject, right? So a lot of people discuss when life is stagnant. And if you see me looking down, it's because I have my notes today. When life is stagnant and they always feel like there's nothing happening, there's nothing going on. And I know we say all the time, well, that's when the most work is being done. That's when these things are working out for us. But because we can't see it, it's still kind of hard to just latch onto it and just kind of agree that, you know what, this is working out for me. Even if we have historical information that tells us this is working out for me. When you're going through and you're in those stagnant and stuck moments, it doesn't feel that way all the time, right? So the number one thing that I know what goes on in the background when you are going through those stagnant moments is that your container is expanding, meaning like the entire scope of who you are and what you can handle and what you can withstand and what you can even take on, how much abundance you can hold, how much, feedback you can take. All of those things are expanding in that moment. And it's because when you are going through the processes of the lessons that are being learned to where these things are elevating you, it's very resistant. But when you get out of it and you get in kind of that calm and kind of what we refer to as a stuck or stagnant place, the container has time and it has space to expand and grow. I know in my own life, I've seen this so many times. I was in an environment, and I'll call it a toxic environment because it was a toxic work environment. But when I look back, I always think about what could you have done differently? And that's how I am with everything. What could you have done differently in that environment? And of course, as time goes on, I can think of so many things, right? But what I do realize now is that that same situation that happened and the way that it affected me then, that will never repeat itself. Like I don't have the capacity for that anymore because my container is so much bigger. I have so much more room for people walking by and not, saying hello to me. I have so much more room for not getting feedback from supervisors and stuff like that. I have so much more room for getting feedback and things that I don't like. It's like I automatically say, well, this is just related to the workplace. It's okay, right? At the time, my container was much smaller. And so when I thought that I could take a lot of feedback and a lot of information, it really was stretching me because I couldn't handle it the way that I thought that I could in those moments. And so what I do know that happens in those moments is that our container is stretching. Our container is getting larger. We're getting a larger capacity for what we can endure, what we can have access to, what we even want for abundance is changing in our lives, right? Also, your soul is resting from the previous work that you've done. If you get into those moments where everything just slows down to a crawl, you got to remember that you probably came from a moment where you were just running, where you were just doing everything and hitting the pavement. And a lot of people say this when they get like laid off from a position, or either they have a business and the clients are not showing up like they used to. If you can think back to just even a few months earlier, maybe even a year earlier, you were working hard. And I say that all the time about myself because when I thought about because I've been kind of like in a slower period for like almost a year now. And a part of me has been really working hard, not working hard, but choosing to enjoy it. But another part of me is always like, what's going to change? Like, what's going to be the expansion? Like, when is the next direction going to hit? And you don't necessarily know, but at the same time, like what it does, I know that it's going to require something from me that I'm going to have to learn and grow and expand into. So I should just be able to enjoy where I'm at now. But when I look back before that year, I was hustling hard. I was hustling hard. I was driving a lot. I was working more than one position. I was in a relationship before that was working me hard, the emotional toll, the time and attention. My daughters were going through phases because they were like in that whole 13 to 15-year-old phase. And if you had children at that age, they come home in an emotional upheaval every other day. It's like everything was so hard. And then it like got quiet, right? And we have to remember that in those moments, we're resting. And I'm huge on resting. And I'm huge on when you get the moment and when you get the chance to rest, there's nothing that should be more important to you than taking that time to just sit back and relax, right? Another thing is, and it's preparing for the next level. Another thing is that you're healing the trauma and you're repairing and resetting your nervous system. So like whatever you went through before that, because like little traumatic moments and events happen throughout our lives. So the trauma that I experienced in the relationship that wasn't that great, the trauma that I experienced in how hard I had to work for those moments to create something that I really wanted to have access to. And then what my nervous system had to go through in those moments, all of the anxiety, all of the push, all of the pull, all of the worried about who's looking over my shoulder, what's happening here and there, the workplace, always like who's said this about me, who's watching me, why do I have a low performance review and I'm an excellent employee, all kinds of stuff, right? That kind of thing you have to take a really long exhale from, and you have to like heal it. A lot of times we want to go right to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next, but we really need to take the time to heal those things. And there's nothing wrong with that. We get so caught up on having this idle time and like, are we wasting time that we have? No. I say this to people all the time. Resting and recuperating and resetting is not wasting time. It is necessary so that the time that you do have is beautiful. It's a good experience. It's not a time where you are, getting sick week after week, going to hospitals, visiting doctors. You're under so much pressure. The rest and the recuperation and the reset is a necessary aspect of having a good time, Another thing is you're being repositioned, and the right people and places and things are showing up in your life. Because think about it, you're moving from one level to the next. You're taking that, timeline shift. You're doing the quantum leap, as so many people call it, and you're moving through that transitional phase. Everything that's supposed to be there for you in your life is not necessarily going to be lined up because of the things I talked about before, because of the rest and the relaxation and the resetting of the nervous system and the recuperation from whatever it is that you went through, and the healing of traumas, even traumas from childhood that you weren't aware of until you had yourself in certain situations or you were connected to certain people. Even when those things happen, you have to sit there and remember that all of the pieces are being put into place. So while you're sitting there and it feels like you're stuck, you feel like you're idle, you feel like every little idea you have, it doesn't go anywhere. And believe me, I know that feeling. You start doing a little project and it's like it doesn't go anywhere. And you're like, I know I'm not lazy. I know I'm not motivated. It's not that I'm not motivated. What is it? It's because all of the necessary places, all of the connections, the people, the ideas, all of it has not come together yet. And when it does come together, you'll be ready. You'll be prepared if you're not spending that time spinning your wheels trying to do 100 different things, even when it's not resonating with your soul. It's not resonating with who you are. You're just doing things to be busy. You're just doing things because, well, I have to be doing something all the time, right? And we can easily get into that space. And also, you're reconnecting with the truest version of who you are. Sometimes when we get so caught up in life and we start going for this thing and working on this thing and doing this job and starting this business and dealing with kids and dealing with relationships, dealing with marriage and all these things, even if we have busy travel schedules and stuff, when we're in those moments, we're not always present. And when we have these slumps is what I call them. I don't even want to say slump. I want to say moments of ease, really. The only thing that's not easy is usually our mind thinking we should be doing something else. But when we have these moments where everything seems maybe stuck and stagnant, we really have to wrap our heads around that we are reconnecting with the newest version of ourselves and the wholest version of ourselves. So think about that. There's a new version of you that's coming into view, right? It's coming into fruition. And then there's the whole version of you that's attached to that you really have to get to know. So say you came from a mindset where you had more of a scarcity mindset, or you believe in lack, or you believe like, oh, I'm not beautiful, or I'm not smart, or I don't have anything to offer. When you start moving out of that space and you're like, hey, I am beautiful, I am smart, I do have things to offer, you have to take that time to truly reconnect with that new version of who you are. Because you've not met her, you've not met them before, right? You've not met that person before. And when it's time to reconnect, to sit down and relax, that's when you make the time. You sit down and you take notes. And you think about, well, what's important to me today? What are the boundaries I want to set in place today? What type of people do I want to have around me today? What sounds good to me for a relationship? What doesn't sound good? How do I want to eat? How do I want to take care of my body? What type of regular exercise am I going to employ? It's like you have to get re-situated with the newer version of who you are, right? And another thing is that you're fine-tuning your frequency. Your frequency has been positioned for another version of who you were and another idea and mindset. It's like you're not accustomed to completely to where you're headed because you've never been there before. So in fine tuning that frequency, when you have those moments of stagnation or where you feel like you're being stuck, that's what's really going on. It's like you're moving, and the more relaxed and the more you allow your nervous system to be reset, the more you embrace those moments, the faster that frequency will be fine-tuned. The longer the frequency takes to fine tune is when we are busy running around in circles and trying to constantly go back to the old because we don't understand what the new is going to be. We start digging up old people. We start digging up old ideas. We start thinking like, well, that was a great thing that I did. You know, since nothing going on there, let me just go back over here and do this thing. Let me just go back and hang with these people. Let me just go back to this old job or this old position or something that you know truly doesn't resonate with you. But the more time you spend and say, hey, what, you know what, I'm going to trust. I'm going to trust that the universe is taking care of these things, the creator, God, whatever it is that you say for that. I'm going to trust that these things are in order, that this is working out for me. And I'm going to sit here and allow my frequency to line up with who I am today. I'm going to sit here and allow myself to get into alignment today, right? That's so important. I think that's one of the most important aspects of those stagnant and stuck moments that we experience, right? It's just stagnant and stuck to us. It's not really what's happening behind the scenes, right? And another thing is you're shedding what no longer serves you in so many ways. In so many areas of your life, things that were once okay with you, you're shedding. And this is a personal story. I'm going to add this to this because notice I'm very excited about this because I know these feelings all too well, and I'm hoping that this is resonating with somebody really well. And if it's resonating with you, drop a comment or something or an emoji. What kind of emoji? I don't know. Maybe a heart, a yellow heart, because I love yellow hearts. And when I first moved to the city where I live now, I remember that I was in this connection. It seems like two totally different experiences. When I was in that relationship in like the neighborhood we lived in and like the tight, scarce energy that was around and like the limited mindset, it was like a really different sort of experience. It's like now I feel like it's a whole new, but it's really the same city. Like it's a whole new place. And so I remember when I first moved, there were a few things that came along with me that couldn't come with me to the next part of my journey. And one of the last things that I was holding on to was this awful dental office that I found just by going through Google that I was bringing my daughters to. And I just didn't know the city well. And I'm like, there's so much nicer places. Why did I choose that place? But at the time, that's the frequency I was on, right? And so the very last time I went there, I had the worst experience. They gave me a misdiagnosis and we were there for like almost 3 hours. And this was continuous. This kind of happened often at this place, right? There was never anywhere to sit. It was loud. There was children everywhere. It was just a mess. And I'm like, you live in a much better neighborhood now. You need to find the places in your area. But I kept putting it off. And I was driving 40 minutes to this little place where I didn't even have a connection anymore. And so most recently, like about 2 weeks ago, I finally got rid of that place. It was like the bane of my existence when it came. Whenever dental appointments came around, I was like, dang it, I hate going there because one of my daughter wears braces. So it's, every 4 to 6 weeks we're heading that way. So it wasn't the every 6 months, right? And so I remember thinking about that. This no longer serves you. You have to get out. And so that's what you'll find. Something that you were just doing and doing on autopilot, you'll find that you just have to let it go. It'll feel like an albatross around your neck if you try to hold on to it and keep on doing it, right? And that's what you're going to find in these stagnant periods. What are you still holding on to in those stagnant periods that you can literally let go of, right? And it may not even be something tangible. It may just be a mindset. It may be a way that you're operating. It may be a way that you're thinking about things, a way that you are negotiating your value through the world in the workspace with your loved ones and stuff. It may be the way that you're reacting to the way that people feel about you, and you're taking people's opinions of you too seriously. It's like those things that no longer serve you, they'll start choking you. And if you do not get rid of them, they'll cause you nothing but damage from that point on. It's like the universe is whispering to you, get rid of it. Get rid of it. And sometimes it's people. Sometimes it's people. It's true. It's people, places, and things. But sometimes it is those things. And so another thing that I want to say on this subject is allow that transformation to take place. Allow yourself to be in that moment, to rest in that moment, to feel the beautiful sweetness of not owing anything to anybody, not having to do anything, of things not being the same as it was, and having that knowing that it's moving on to something even greater. Because a lot of times we don't acknowledge the knowing, and we have to. So it's like no matter what everything looks like on the outside, no matter what showed up and what's not there yet, what we have access to, what we don't have access to yet, when we get still and we start to understand how every day we're on this earth is a bonus. Every time we wake up and we see that, the ceiling in the morning, even if we're aggravated because we got to go to some job or something we don't want to go to, all of those things are bonuses every single day. When we get into that space, then we can truly start to sink into, let me allow this transition to happen. Let me allow this space to be made. Let me allow these things to shift out of my space and for me to move to another space. Let me allow the unpretty parts to show themselves, and let me sit with it, right? Let me allow myself to be misunderstood by people and environments and what used to be, right? Let me allow my transition to take place, because I know once that transition moves through me, the greater version of me, the greater experience, the one that is more abundant, that has more to offer, that has more to give, right? That has a more calm nervous system, that has a more beautiful outlook on life, that has more time, more energy, more freedom, more peace, more love, more appreciation. All of those things are showing up in those moments. And if you just allow it, and not get assertive, and not try to fight for it, not try to force it, not try to drag people into your space, right? And I've gotten into sometimes where I forget this, and I'll go looking for people and old people and things sometimes, and it'll just so happen that they're not available, or either they change the phone number, or either I no longer have the right contact information. That's happened to me. And what it told me in those moments is that you need to be allowing what's transitioning and being okay with it, and knowing that it's a more beautiful version of who you are, and a more beautiful version of this life that you are choosing to live is manifesting for you, right? And then the last thing is that when we truly allow, rapid expansion is what shows up. When we truly get out of our own way and we truly start thinking like, you know what, I've done the work. I've had my moments of hustle and bustle and trying to create and make and force things to happen. And I've created some out of that, but I don't want to do it anymore because it's not sustainable. I don't want to maintain that lifestyle. And when we get out of our own way and we allow people to go if they need to go, we allow places to change, we allow ourselves to be laid off without trying to sue the company because they did me wrong or something. We'll just allow what's transitioning to transition. The expansion is rapid. The changes are rapid. When I tell you I've been in this place for a minute, and I have, a prime example. Let's look at this YouTube channel. I've been posting videos. If you look back, it's been since like 2022. I was extremely consistent for most of that time. I think 2023 is the first time I did like my 1 year playlist, and then 2024, and then 2025 is still building. And I have that in my playlist, right? So I was very consistent. but it wasn't any like major growth happening with the whole entire process. And so I was always giving it too much pressure, too much attention, and like trying to make things too perfect, always worrying about what's the background look like, how's my hair, how's my makeup, blah, 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 all these things. And in these moments of these past few months, I've truly been in a space to where let me just relax and be. And let me tell you, when I went to the women's retreat that I went to in France, I came back, I didn't do anything on YouTube. I didn't share any videos. And when I tell you, the viewership just dropped like a ton of bricks. And that's what'll happen sometimes. Things will scare you into thinking that it's not working, that it's not happening, that nothing's happening. And then like literally, I'll say overnight, I went from like 2,000 subscribers and something to like over 10,000 at this point. And it's only been within it's not even been a month yet, right? And that was from like one video I put out. But I mean, so much more of the material is what people have also been latching on to. But that let me know so clearly. It's like, you don't have to do the fighting. You don't have to do all the work. You don't have to hustle and bustle. When you get those moments to where all the little pieces are not in place yet, just rest. Just be. Just allow. Just appreciate the freedom in that. So many people don't have access to the freedom in that, and allow it to be peaceful. And when you do that, all of that rapid expansion that you were looking forward to is going to show right up at your front door. You won't even be able to dodge it. You won't even be able to deny it. You won't even be able to fight it off. It's just going to come in a rush. When life is slowing down, the universe is speeding up. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.